It's that time of year again. Every 6 months, I take a snapshot to see how many Earth caches have been gained or lost. And in this video, we're going to review those numbers and you can tell how well your state is doing. Okay, so let's start out with a broad overview, if you will. So as of the 1st of July, there are a total of just over 45,000 Earth caches that you can find worldwide, right? An increase of 5.5% in the last 6 months. In the US, we've seen an increase of 4.4%, and in Canada, we've had an increase of just over 3%. Again, all in the last 6 months. Okay, so let's break it down throughout the US by region, starting with the Northeast. Maine is absolutely crushing it. They've had an increase of 7 so far this year, and last year they only had 1. So absolutely doing amazing up there in Maine. Connecticut finally has its first one in a while as well, so good job out there. And Massachusetts seems to be slowing down a bit. Last year, they had 20 created. So far this year, as you can see, they've only got 1. So they're going to have to pick up the pace if they want to maintain what they did last year. Transitioning now down to the south, you've got West Virginia that has absolutely crushed it so far, and I imagine that Geo Woodstock had something to do with it. Alabama is also doing amazing, and that's due primarily to one geocacher who has written 10 out of those 16. Had 0 at the beginning of this year. He went from 0 to hero and created 10 so far this year alone. Louisiana finally has its first one in some time as well, thanks to Siphon. And now you've also got Arkansas and Maryland, both with +4. Both are, the majority of those in both states, caused by a single geocacher who went from 0 to platinum master status within the last month and a half, 2 months. I was fortunate enough to be able to help them with that. And then I'm a little surprised at Kentucky with 0 so far this year. But again, we've got plenty of time for the rest of the year. Transitioning now to the Midwest, you've got Michigan as well as Ohio just simply crushing it with their numbers so far. Wisconsin, I'd like to know what's going on with Wisconsin. They had created 18 last year, and now it looks like we've got just 2. So I don't know, maybe it's a northern state kind of thing. South Dakota also has a new one, so good job up in there. And now you got Indiana, Missouri, and North Dakota. Well, at least we haven't lost any this year. If you are into this kind of material where I bring you earth caching adventures or tips and tricks and news, then make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the channel for all of the goodness that I bring to you. Now, back to the numbers, and starting out with returning back to the West, California looks like it's doing really well at over 77 created. The problem is that the purge is going to hit them super hard here in a couple of weeks. But given how many they created this year, I think that they will be able to bounce back fairly easily. Both Washington and Oregon, you can see the numbers there, +13 and +8. But last year, Washington had created 42 throughout the year, and Oregon had created 19. So overall, there may be a slight decline in the year-over-year numbers. New Mexico last year created 9, and so far they've got 0. Again, at least they didn't lose any like Montana. Montana has the unfortunate distinction of being the only state in the union with an actual loss of 1. But that's okay. There's plenty of time left to go in the year. Looking now at Alaska, Hawaii, and the U.S. territories, we've got Hawaii that created 9 last year. So they're a little bit behind the curve from year-over-year numbers, but they've also got the purge coming, which is going to wipe out those 3. On a good note, though, the Virgin Islands has a new one. Looking north to our neighbors in Canada, it looks like Ontario is crushing it, and they are. They had created 43 throughout the last year, so yeah, they're doing okay. And a good news story for this one is Yukon. Yukon has a new one. It's their first in 2 years, so good job up there in the great northern areas. And then Northwest Territory. No new one in the last 2.5 years, but that's okay. They're doing okay. Now, let's talk leaderboard and who is creating all of these Earth caches. As you can see here, you got Cincy Chewbacca with 51. Now, this geocacher created 13 last year, so he's just on a tear. Same thing with Pasha 88. She is a friend of the channel up north in Ontario and has created 42 so far in both the US and Canada. Last year, she only created 14, so she is just out there crushing it. Team Conway with 25, and he created 25 last year, so he's got 5+ months to just crush this number. Chet 13, this is a new player to me, and coming out, I may have to do a little bit more research because he's coming out, or she maybe, and creating 25 in 6 months. That is awesome. Let's go on down to the Jackson Godfrey with 10. So this is that new player here in Alabama. Just all of a sudden went from 0 to hero and creating 10 in the last 6 months. Just took it and ran with it. And at the bottom there, you see Lulu Soil with 9. Again, crushing it, coming out of nowhere compared to last year. So top creators in the US, again, I think I'm gonna have to do a little more research on Chet 13 to see where this person is at and what they are creating. But again, here you see the top US creators. And then in Canada, we've got some new names on the list. You got Lulu Soil again, and then as well as X7 Kevin and Nova Riddlers. So want to give a hearty thank you and appreciation from, at least for me, as well as everybody else, for all of the hard work that all of you have put into creating all of the Earth caches that we now get to go find. So again, overall, we've seen an increase in many states, and what's really going to be interesting is to see what really happens with this year's purge. I've already done one snapshot, and I didn't want to include the numbers in this video because they still may change. I did another quick check this morning, and a handful have been pulled from the jaws of being archived. So we've got that going for us. California and parts of the Southwest, you're just going to lose, especially California, you're going to lose a ton, unfortunately. But again, that creates opportunities for others to recreate some of those or reuse some of that geology. We've got to be careful with the whole recreate. You can, but again, I did a whole nother video on that. And there are some learning opportunities if you've never created one and you are interested in publishing your first or maybe your next Earth cache. If you are with a group, feel free to reach out to me and we can set up a class, an EarthCache 101 class. Not my first rodeo. I've done this more than once, and we can have a group discussion, and in about an hour, I can get you on your way to creating your first one. The other option, if you're not part of a group, is on August 16th at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to do the first ever live stream presentation of the EarthCache 101 class. So you're more than happy, of course, to tune into that and learn how to go from I've never done it to getting your first one published. And as always, while I am not a reviewer, if you want to send me a submission that you're getting ready to submit, or your draft that you're getting ready to submit, if you want to send it to me to have me take a look at it and hopefully or potentially find some, some common mistakes that are out there, I am always happy to do so. You can reach me at the links down below in the description. So with that, I hope that you have many Earth caches in your future, as well as maybe some other geocaches.